Today, they might be the best backcourt of all time. But just 12 months ago, the Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic pairing was just another failed super team. Kyrie was riding the coattails of a LeBron-fueled title run. Luka was a losing player. But now, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving have silenced the NBA media. Was the world wrong about this pairing, or did the superstar guards just figure it out? A year ago, no one would have believed what these Mavericks have pulled during the season. And really, we barely believe it now. The Mavericks became the first team since the 2010 Lakers to beat 3 50-win teams en route to the finals. And they could become the first team since the 22 Warriors to win the title after missing the playoffs the year before. Remember just how bad it got for them? Even crazier than that, remember how insane the anti-Luka takes were? Ever since he was a kid, balling out against 30-year-olds with Real Madrid, everyone has known that Luka's talent is special. But was he riding on that talent? He was too fat, too slow. He didn't play hard on defense. He relied on bad threes and iso ball, dominating smaller point guards because of his size. Remind you of anyone you know? Like James Harden? I mean, it sort of fits. Huge numbers, no playoff success. They were both proof that you can't rely on heliocentric ball if you want to win a title. They're also the only guys to ever put up 60-point triple-doubles. And yet, no titles. Looking back, totally unfair, right? I mean, Luka is 25 years old. He could still end up on the pretty short list of the youngest finals MVPs. Not to mention, he has always been a playoff riser. Harden's stats always take a dip in the playoffs, while Luka has the second most points per game in playoff history. But that didn't stop the narrative. He needed a Robin, the world said. He had Kristaps Porzingis, who got better when he left Luka's side. He had Jalen Brunson, who got better when he left Luka's side. Maybe it's Luka's fault? Crazy to think looking back, but that's what people said. As anti-Luka as some of the media had gotten, it doesn't compare with how anti-Kyrie they were at the same time. But was that one for a good reason? Kyrie was the second best player on a LeBron-led title team, but he just couldn't leave well enough alone. He wanted to be the guy, so he shipped off to Boston to lead the Celtics back to greatness. Well, in 2018, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but he didn't play a single playoff game. Then the next year, the Celtics were, by all accounts, the unhappiest good team in the entire league. A title you could totally give to the Brooklyn Nets over the next 4 years. Now, it wasn't all Kyrie's fault that the Nets soap opera was so toxic, but he certainly didn't help. Between his many off-court distractions and constant demands to management, the fact that they won even one playoff series is actually kind of a miracle. Something you would not have expected to be true when this so-called super team first formed. How did he come back out of that? No one doubted Kyrie's greatness, though some people thought it was crazy that he still gets a playoff riser name tag for winning a title in 2016. It's actually insane when you dig into the numbers. Kyrie is 32 years old right now. He left LeBron at 24. Between the year that he left Cleveland, going into this season, he played in just 22 playoff games. He's already at 17 just this year. So what happened? It's not like this was a match made in heaven. The NBA media was probably devastated when the Nets announced the Kyrie trade in February 2023. They would pay anything to keep that drama going. But when you can get a head case with inflated stats who hasn't proven anything in half a decade to pair with a generational talent, you gotta do it. So how did we get from here?
He fakes a shot. Now Luka going back to Kyrie. A pump fake. Skips through the defense. Lost the ball.
To here.
In that midseason trade, the season turned for the Mavs. It's Kyrie knifing, piercing the paint, gets the deuce.
Seriously, the finals? The fact that the can't figure out who takes the final shot clip was against the Timberwolves is hilarious looking back, by the way. Because now, a year later, Kyrie was the perfect dude to wear out Anthony Edwards on the perimeter. And that's why you trade for talent and vets. Because this is the ceiling, a chance at the finals. Even if they'd be the third biggest underdog since the merger to win the title, they at least have a chance. Definitely not something we thought was gonna happen a year ago. The Mavericks in 2023 were coming off a great postseason. Remember, they reached the conference finals with Luka and Brunson in 2022. When they traded for Kyrie, they were the 5th seed, 29 and 26. They had to assume they'd at least reach the 4 seed or at worst drop to 6th while they kind of figured out the kinks. Nope, 11th seed out of the play-in. And by the end of the season, they didn't even hide the fact that they were tanking. Dallas decided to sit Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Josh Green, and Christian Wood against the Bulls, with Luka only playing 1 quarter because the home game was a promo night for Slovenia, and there were a lot of Slovenians in attendance to see Luka. They were still technically alive to reach the postseason, but they wanted that high draft pick. And what, were they actually going to win a playoff round? Well, the league fined the Mavericks $750,000 and they drafted Derek Lively. I'd take that trade. The Mavs had a solid first half of the season, but the deadline trades for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford were huge, even if they didn't know it yet. Who expected PJ Washington to turn into Robert Horry? That's the thing. Some guys are playoff risers on teams that just don't make the playoffs. No one knew this about PJ until he left Charlotte and came to his hometown team. Gafford, on the other hand, is the perfect big man to pair with Luka. More importantly, Kyrie and Luka are playing like their best selves. And the stats prove it. No player in NBA history has had above a 32.5 usage percentage and won the title except Michael Jordan. Luka has a chance to break that this year with a 35.9 usage percentage in the regular season. Just speaking historically, the ball-dominant, ISO-heavy style of play that Luka has thrived under is not winning basketball. But in the playoffs, where the 5-seeded Mavericks have suddenly caught fire, Luka's usage percentage is 32.1%, playing winning basketball. Kyrie is playing like the perfect Robin, and that's not even the most important part of this story for him.
I think I'm grateful because it was an easy road, and I was able to grow as a person way beyond, as quick as I was growing as a player. And
when's the last time you heard a controversial Kyrie story? Since joining the Mavericks, he's had one thing in mind: playing the right style of ball to win a title. He's not trying to prove that he's Batman anymore. He is Robin, and he is a really good Robin. Now, he gets to face off against the Boston Celtics, the city where the toxic Kyrie narrative first began. Remember the stomp on Lucky? Yeah, grab your popcorn for these NBA Finals, guys. Will they welcome him back, happy to see his growth as a person, or are they gonna boo him? You already know what the media is saying.
Minnesota's top-rated defense is going to be challenged trying to slow them down. Arguably the best offensive backcourt in the history of the NBA.
Are Luka and Kyrie the best offensive backcourt in the history of the NBA? Do they have a chance against the Celtics? Let us know in the comments, then watch one of these videos next. Listen to The Wrong Opinion, useless NBA trivia, and garbage rankings for more NBA content.